choice. No choice.
So after watching the first two clips, I'm pretty sure you guys are like, okay, I know what you did in the first clip, but as far as the second clip goes, what the hell did you do? Well, did you guys know that there are actually two ways to cancel into an ultimate? The first method is what I like to call the traditional method, which is just simply the way we've been doing it for years. You combo up to a certain point in the character's combo, jump out of it at that point, and then cancel into an ultimate. The second method is a method that was implemented into the game with the iteration of Storm 4. CC2 did this, and that's what I like to call an inherent method. And it's done by simply comboing an opponent, and while you're comboing them, just pressing the inputs for an ultimate, and literally just canceling into an ultimate off of any given frame. Now I'm going to be going over the pro. Now I'm going to be talking about what's good and bad about each method, starting with the traditional method. So with the traditional method, it requires less chakra, which means you have more chakra to spend on other resources like dashes, jutsus, etc. So that's the first good thing about it. The second good thing is that you get a fully unskilled ultimate, meaning that the regular amount of damage that an ultimate is supposed to do is the amount of damage it will do. Now, this will make much more sense in a few minutes after I get done explaining this method. The only bad thing about the traditional method is that you have to combo up to that certain string where you are given enough stun to jump out of the combo and thus use an ultimate. Now, this is an unfortunate thing simply because we've all been in that scenario where we're comboing a person and we're like, dang, if I get to this point in my combo, I can cancel into an ultimate and kill them because they have no subs at that point in time. Well, by the time we get to that point, they have a sub, or they're starting to regenerate subs and they have a sub and they can sub out of that ultimate. Now, of course, you force a sub, which is good, but at the same time, you could have killed them. So while you do force a sub, they're not dead yet, which is, the most important thing to take out of this. With that being said, let's move on to the inherent method. So the good thing about the inherent method is that it cancels the initial frame of any move, allowing for combo ultimates that otherwise wouldn't exist with characters that don't have ultimates. So let's take, Sakura, for example. Originally, she doesn't have a combo ultimate, but with this method, she is given a combo ultimate. Although this method has extreme versatility and where it can be used, there are some downsides to it. The first of which is that it scales the ultimate. As you can see, the ultimate is scaled from this method. And to make matters worse, leading into the second con about this method is that it requires more chakra. So you're spending more chakra for a lesser powerful ultimate, but the trade-off is that as long as you're paying attention, you should only use this method when it results in killing the opponent. Because otherwise you're just pretty much wasting chakra, you're wasting a resource. You should only really utilize the inherent method when the ultimate would either kill the opponent or pretty much bring them down to a pixel of health for the most part. Those are pretty much the only times when you'll really utilize this method. So it's pretty much up to the player to pick out the points in which this method is most useful and which, ultimately seize the moment. Now, I really like the inherent method, and I feel like it still has more room to grow. For instance, take the third Hokage. Now, it is known that he has no combo ultimate, or so we thought. But under this method, under the inherent method, he is able to combo into an ultimate from string 1 all the way to the string right before he gets to differentiating between up, down, and left or right. And that's with just this character alone, and that's before I even get to the other parts of this combo. Not to mention that you could do some interesting things like delay the time in which you start your ultimate to go into this ultimate for pressure due to the nature of the ultimate I'm using. I even also found a nifty little setup with carrying Sasuke where I can force you to guard the ultimate, which is pretty good for pressure as well. So meta-wise, this way of using ultimate still has a ways to go in my opinion. I feel like people still aren't really tapping into the potential of it. I feel like a lot of people don't even know this method exists, which is the main reason I wanted to make this video, because I'm actually pretty sure at least a lot of the lower ranked people, even some of the higher ranked people in ranked match, don't even know this method exists because it kind of slipped under the radar. So in short, I feel like both options should definitely be looked at in a match. You should definitely be thinking about both options, and when a scenario arises, being able to pick between the two and determining which one is the better option, and that's what second ultimately just comes down to the player. Thank you guys for watching this video. I just thought I'd put this out there because it seems as if a lot of people don't know that this method of ultimate canceling exists, but it's actually pretty powerful as it gives literally every character in the game a combo ultimate. But again, it's situational, and you definitely need to pick your points and when you should use it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's the best way to ensure that you stay up to date on all my content. And of course, liking and commenting on the video helps and is greatly appreciated. Let me know your own thoughts and opinions on both of these methods and ultimately which one you think is better. Thank you guys for watching. This is Mysterious Man Toby signing off.